The winter months of 1778 were obviously difficult for the Continental Army.
Valley Forge was quite an ordeal for the cause. We entered the encampment with about 12,000 men, at least a third of whom were not in good health and were not well clothed. And as a result of our Valley Forge experience, by the time the spring rolled around, we were down to maybe 5,000 men. However, simultaneously, we got good news from France in that they had agreed to join us in our war against British aggression.
As springtime arrived, things had begun to change. What we enjoy about riding these cycling trails is bringing the history to life. People on this trail may not even know they are following the very same path taken by General Lafayette and a force of Continental soldiers as they escaped the Battle of Barren Hill. Now there is a restaurant on top of the hill where the battle nearly took place.
By the time we left Valley Forge in June of '78, we had approximately 20,000 men. From our poor showings that we had during the winter, we were now a new army and well trained. And we knew the British were leaving the Jerseys and they were heading north, was the reports I had gotten in. So I decided this was the most propitious time to attack the British when they least expected it. And they were unaware of the new army that we had trained.
Also during the winter, on the other side, General Howe was replaced by a new commander of British forces, Sir Henry Clinton. The British Army was the most powerful in the world at that time.
Column, halt! Your troop, camp detail, field detail, officers call. Ensign with me.
Sir Henry left Philadelphia for several reasons. He feared he might lose control of New York on word of a French fleet soon to arrive. And perhaps he also wanted to follow the original plan to move up the Hudson River and separate the colonies. At the end of June 1778, the Battle of Monmouth began. It lasted 3 days.
and the British escaped during the night because they knew conditions were not in their favor. And it was determined that they were heading north into Jersey. I would not be able to catch up to them. I knew that by the next morning. Many of the men were exhausted from the fatigues of the day. The heat was unbearable. Quite a few soldiers on both sides, I'm sure, died of heat exhaustion. Therefore, it wasn't until a couple days later we went north on up New Jersey and learned the British had escaped through the northeast part of New Jersey on ships back to New York.
At this point, the French fleet had steered away from New York and sailed on to Newport, Rhode Island. With this news, the Continental Congress returned to Philadelphia. Expecting Sir Henry Clinton to move north along the Hudson, George Washington began to establish his headquarters at West Point, New York.
Today we're in New York along the Hudson River at West Point.
The Hudson River was a vital route for transportation. We will return to this area for engagements later in the war. For now, people recognize it as the home of the United States Military Academy. We promised to explain the role of Nathaniel Greene, and it just so happens that he was originally from the area near Newport, Rhode Island.
This is Newport, Rhode Island. A lot of sailboats here, a lot of mansions.
Coastal ports of the 13 colonies were so important to the War for Independence. Nathaniel Greene had served with George Washington since the Siege of Boston in 1775. He became one of General Washington's most trusted leaders. By the end of summer 1778, Nathaniel Greene had returned to his home just in time for the Battle of Rhode Island.
Today we're in Bristol, Rhode Island, and we're going to ride along the East Bay Trail. This trail goes all the way up to Providence, Rhode Island.